Hello everyone and welcome to this new training, and in today's video I'm going to show you a complete free second brain course especially updated for 2026, and in this video you will learn how to learn and create content twice as fast in half the time. So let's begin. Most people consume constantly but build nothing. You read books, you take notes, you watch videos, you save articles, and then you forget everything. A week later, you couldn't explain what you learned if your life depended on it. The notes exist somewhere, but you never use them. And the problem here isn't that you don't consume enough. The problem is that you consume too much. And you're drawing in information that you have no system to turn it into knowledge and no workflow to turn knowledge into output. And that's why having the second brain solves all of this. Because the second brain is an external system, a set of apps, folders, and workflows that captures what you learn, organizes it, connects it, and makes it available when you need it. And it doesn't replace your brain, but actually amplifies it. Your brain is for writing ideas, and your second brain is for storing and connecting them. That's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete system I use in 2026 to take smart notes and create content from it. We'll cover 3 systems in this video. First, the content acquisition system, then how to take note using the Zettelkasten system, and finally, how to turn those notes into content. And I will also compare the 2 best apps to actually apply the system in this video in 2026 in my opinion. And at the end, I will also show you where you can get all of my templates, SOPs, and even a custom AI to help you implement the entire system by yourself for free. So stay until the end. Now let's begin. And the first things we're going to study is the folder architecture of your second brain. Because before building any system, you need structure. And without it, your second brain becomes a digital junk drawer. And most people organize their notes by topic, but that's the wrong starting point. Because when you do that, you end up with giant folders called ideas or self-development that mean nothing and contain everything inside. That's why the right starting point is, what are you going to do with this information? And that's the question that my eParag system answers. So eParag is a 6-layer system that organizes everything you capture by purpose and action. So first we have the inbox. So the inbox is the capture point. Everything lands here first. So it's basically your place to brain dump and store all of the files you want to store later. So voice memos, clip articles, random stuff, downloads, everything goes there without any sorting, because the goal is to have everything in one place, and then we're going to sort them inside the next folders. The rule is to process the inbox to 0 regularly, and the inbox is a temporary holding zone and not a storage system, so you really need to clean it often. But you can do this at the end of each day or once a week if you have a weekly review, as you want. And by the way, with AI agents nowadays, you can have agents clean your inbox for you and store your files inside your system where you want to have. So that's something to keep in mind. Then the second folders are projects. So projects are time-bound outcomes with a clear finish line. It's things like launching a new course, renovate the kitchen, complete a certain certification, and basically if it has a deadline and a completion criterion, it goes here. So you will store all of your active projects here, and you can actually divide this projects folder with projects that are in progress right now, and someday maybe projects like the project that you're going to do later, but that you just want to store for reference, and you can divide it with these 2 categories. Then the next one are areas. So areas are ongoing responsibilities with no end date. Things like health, finances, relationships, your business. These are the domains of your life you maintain and improve over time. So you will store all of your different areas here, and all of the documents and files about each areas will be under that folder. Then we have resources. So resources are reference material for later that will help you achieve your current projects and maintain your current areas. So it can be guides, templates, saved articles, course materials, AI prompts, all of that stuff. You might use this someday, it's not active, but it's worth keeping. So that's basically the ideas with resources. And next folder we use is the archive folder. So archive folder is basically for completed or inactive items. So all of the finished projects, all content, historical records will go into the archive. And the goal is basically to keep your projects, resources, and areas folder neat and tidy and remove any unnecessary files that can be here. So it's something that you can do maybe once a month or once every quarter. You just just go towards all of your folders and you're like, okay, I don't need this, I can put it in the archive. So this way you still have a future reference if you need it, but it's not noise in the actual folder that you're using every day in your workflows. And finally, we have the Galaxy. The Galaxy is a special folder because that's where you will store your Zettelkasten system, which is your knowledge layer. And I'm going to explain what's the Zettelkasten method later in the video and the difference between these folders and this one in a minute. But this is basically where all of your permanent nodes live in a flat file structure. This is your mind externalized, and it's the most valuable part of your second brain because that's where you will have all of your nodes connected together and where you will have this galaxy of knowledge. So now we're going to see bottom-up versus top-down organization, and it's very important to understand this concept to understand the differences between all of these folders work. So most people organize top-down, they create folders before they have content, and this results in a rigid structure that doesn't match how knowledge actually grows. That's why if you create folders for example, nodes for self-improvement, and then finances or health, then you have everything that's separated and in silos. The opposite approach to that is what we call bottom-up. You first capture IDs and create nodes, and then you have an organization that emerges with tags and connection between the files inside the folder. And so the goal of this system is to combine both, is to combine top-down organization with IPARA, which is your top-down structure to manage active documents. And then you have bottom-up organization inside the Galaxy folder where all of your nodes live with no hierarchy to promote serendipity and connection. Because if your nodes are in silos, then they're isolated and can't be connected together. So to make things clear, I will show you in the video what it looks like. So here we are in my Obsidian, which is an app I use to manage my seven brain. And here, as you can see, I have my IPARA structure just here. So I have inbox, projects, area, resources, archives, and Galaxy. And so as you can see, the inbox is currently empty because I emptied it, but that's where I will put every files and documents that I want to store later. Here I have my active projects with projects that are in progress and project I'm going to do later. Here I have the different areas. So right now I have my business, that's the main area I'm tracking here. Then I have the resources, archives, and Galaxy. And inside the Galaxy, I have all of my nodes with absolutely no hierarchy. And why? Because I want to have all of these nodes next to each other to promote serendipity and unexpected connection with the Zettelkasten method that I'm going to show you just later. And if you want to see how this looks like, well, if I tap on Command G, on this app, you will be able to see how all of my nodes that are here are connected all together. So I have a special feature that allows me to only show my Galaxy, and yeah, currently it's currently opening and showing all of the different nodes and all of the different connections between the nodes. So that's how it looks like. So this is a bottom structure. And here the projects, area, resources, archives, and inbox folder represent top-down structure. So that's the main difference I want you to understand with this folder structure. I will also show you another app when you can do the exact same thing in this video later if you don't want to use Obsidian because you feel like it's maybe too technical or nerdy for you. So don't worry about that. Now we're going to see the first system you're going to use, which I call the content acquisition system. So it's basically your learning system. The problem with modern information consumption is not quantity, but quality and intentionality, which is what most people lack. We optimize for speed and volume, we scroll faster, we consume more, we save everything and takes a lot of highlights. But proof is that saving isn't learning and highlighting isn't thinking. So even though you get a cool dopamine spike when you're doing so, you're not actually learning and processing the information. And also if you highlight everything, you end up highlighting nothing, which is quite a problem. The goal of the content acquisition system is to consume less but better and extract maximal signal from every source you touch. So we're going to see a little concept that's very important to understand when choosing from which sources you're going to learn from. And this is the content hierarchy. Not all sources are equal. So we have books. So to basically understand this, we have Lindy's law. I will put it on top here. Basically, Lindy's law states that the longer something has survived, the longer it's likely to survive. which means that a book published in 1980 and still relevant has been stress tested by time. So try to prefer timeless over trending and find the oldest sources you can find to learn from, because that means they stood the test of time. And so if the principles have been valuable for hundreds of years, they're probably going to be valuable for the next hundreds of years as well. Then about the hierarchy, we have books, which I think for me are the highest signal to noise ratio. It's dense, edited, and long form thinking. A good book of someone's thinking compressed into 6 hours. So they are my personal favorite ways to consume new information. Then you have articles and newsletters, which are curated, focused, and up to date, which can also be great if you find the right creators. Then you have YouTube and podcasts to have lower density, but it's still powerful for learning nuance, storytelling, and also learn directly from other people's experience. And then you have tweets and social posts, which is the lowest signal. It can be useful for inspiration, but I wouldn't use it as my primary source of learning, because, well, that's still mainly a lot of low quality contents. And so basically we're going to use multiple tools to learn and highlight what we're learning through these different sources. So here is the tool setup. It's one pipeline and everything flows in. So we're going to use Reader by Readwise, which will be your reading and clipping up. So basically, Reader by Readwise is a save it later app. So it's basically an app where you can store articles and newsletters that you want to read later, and then read them inside the app, and you can highlight specific sections of the newsletter that you can retrieve later. So you can save articles, newsletters, as I said, page, read them with highlights. So that's a great place to start. Then we have Sniped for podcasts. So Snipes allow you to record the audio, auto-transcribes, and it lets you clip key moments of a podcast. So that means that you can be listening to a podcast while being during a walk or during a commute in your car or something like that. And with a simple touch of a button on your phone, you can basically clip the last minute of what have been said. So if there was an interesting idea that you want to find later, you can save it and it will be stored there. Then we have Kindle for books. So here we're going to have, that's what we're going to use to buy books and read them and highlight. So you can use the Kindle app on your computer. And if you already have a Kindle, which I recommend you to buy because it's an amazing investment, then you can read on your Kindle, highlight different sections of the book, and you will be able to save your highlights through that. And the great thing is that all of your highlights sync to Readwise automatically. And Readwise will be the central sync layer because everything flows here. Everything that you will be highlighting inside Reader or inside Snipe or inside Kindle will end up into Readwise. So you will have all of your highlights. And then you will be able to export to your favorite note-taking app, which can be Obsidian or Aiden. We're going to see that later automatically. So that's the great benefit of having Readwise as a central hub. And then the other tool that I recommend that I will talk on later in this video is Tana for quick captures on mobile. So you can, because with Tana, you can add widgets on your home screen for instant voice or text capture, and you can type content IDs directly, and then they're retrievable in seconds. So I highly recommend you to try Tana because you can try it for free. You can build very advanced system inside Tana, but that's not even what I'm using it for. I'm only using it for saving IDs and every thought that pops into my mind and that I want to save. Now, the second system, it's the Zettelkasten note-taking method. So that's the system we're going to use to basically transform those highlights that we've taken with the content acquisition systems into literature and permanent notes that will be the foundation of your knowledge system. So that's basically what I show you here with my Mind Galaxy. It's basically what I've created using the Zettelkasten method. So most note-taking systems are graveyards. You save notes, you never revisit them, they accumulate untouched. And the problem isn't the app, but often in the method. Because notes are only valuable if they're connected, synthesized, and retrievable. So we're going to use the Zettelkasten workflow to actually connect the nodes together, synthesize them, and make them more retrievable. So the Zettelkasten method has three major types of nodes. First, we have fleeting notes, which are raw captures and highlights. So it can be quotes, highlights, or your interpretation of what you just read or heard. So there are ephemeral, they exist only to feed literature notes. Then we have literature notes. So literature notes are the notes we're going to be using to process the highlights we've taken with the content acquisition system and turn them into atomic concepts with our own words. So basically, we summarize the source in our own words and answer some questions like what was the main argument, what did we learn, and we add our own commentary, questions, and reaction to that. And that's basically where you will do the work of really engaging with the source material, understanding it, and extracting the core big ideas from that content into your own words to make sure you really understand it. And then we're going to turn them into permanent notes, which are one note per concept. So this is the core Zettelkasten method. Here we will extract all of the single timeless ideas from your literature notes and write it in your own words and create a dedicated and specific permanent notes for it. So if I go back to my system, share all of these files that you see here are basically single IDs. They all encompass one ID and they are connected toward each other. So I don't have any literature notes or fleeting notes inside here. It's only permanent notes that are interconnected, and all of that is living inside my galaxy that is just here. So for example, I have quotes, but I also have some principles. I have, but here, for example, I will show you a literature note. So this is an article where I took some notes. So here are the highlights that I've taken with Readwise, and yeah, I don't think I have turned them into permanent notes yet, but yeah, that's basically an example of literature note. I could show you this. So this is a permanent note. Here it's a permanent note about attention, the psychic energy we use to create a reality. It's from the book Flow from Mihalis Csikszentmihalyi. Sorry if I killed his name. And yeah, you have basically the whole permanent notes here with the different IDs. And here you have the connections with other notes. So yeah, I could show you my system for a long time, but that's some examples. The thing that you must understand is that the Zettelkasten method and the permanent nodes respect the principle of atomicity. So one permanent node equal one concept. And this is the most important rule in the system. A node, you should never have a node called productivity with different IDs inside because it's not atomic. What you should have are multiple nodes that can be tagged with that can be about productivity, but that can be something like why we power is finite and should be conserved. And then you have the idea that is described here. Atomic nodes are easy to connect, reuse, and evolve independently. So if a node covers two IDs, then you split it into two nodes and you connect the IDs together. And then the final step of the Zettelkasten method is connecting the nodes, and that's all knowledge compounds. So the value of your second brain is not the individual nodes, it's in the connections between them. A node that links to 5 other nodes is worth 10 times more than an isolated node. So you have some trigger questions that you can ask yourself to find other nodes to connect to your second brain. For example, how does this ID relate to what I already know? Does this challenge or confirm another ID in my system? What's a practical application? Or what will happen if you reverse the plainness of this node? Then you can also use tags for retrieval, like for example, productivity, mindset, and stuff like that on your system. They will allow you to search and find nodes easier. And finally, you can create links for connection with you just use a double bracket if you're inside Obsidian or add inside the node and it creates a live link to another node. And this connection over time from clusters and clusters can become MOCs, which are map of content. Map of content on the navigation layer. When you have more than dozens of nodes on a related topic, you can create an MOC, and the MOC is a curated index, a node that maps the territory of IDs. So it doesn't summarize the nodes, it just links them and show how they relate. So MOCs make your galaxy navigable without a rigid folder structure. So that's why I have here, if I go here, you can see that I have my productivity MOC here. And so if I go there, I can see that's my productivity MOC. So here I just added the map of content inside my filters, and here you can see those big those big things are the map of content. So they are basically here to show the big topic I'm learning from. So here we have self-realization, here productivity, here memory retention, here mental models, here we have cognitive bias, here we have relationships nodes, and yeah, so that's basically it for the MOCs. You create them when you know you have a lot of nodes on a specific topic, and you will just add the MOC to all of these nodes. So it creates this central nodes that connects to each of the nodes of that topic. So now we're going to see the last system, which is how to create content from your nodes. Because your second brain is not a personal library, but a content factory. Every node you write is a potential piece of content, and an insight can become a tweet, a cluster of nodes can become a newsletter, and a map of contents can be used as a YouTube video. The goal with that system is to never start from a blank page, because your IDs are already captured, and your job is just to format and polish them for your audience. So now, how to capture content IDs? I have said before in the tool stack that I showed you, Tana is the content capture layer that I use. So ideas live in Tana, content is produced in my second brain, which can be in Obsidian or Eden. We're going to see that later. But yeah, every time I have an idea, which can be in the shower, on a walk, or reading a book, I open Tana, AI capturing, AI uses super tag for each content ID to mark it as a content ID. And then you can add widgets on your phone for quick capture, and Tana also supports voice transcription, so it's amazing when on walk. So I can also show you how my Tana looks like. So here we are in my Tana. It's basically the idea with Tana is that every day create daily notes. So every day you have a notes with the time of the day. And basically here, that's a template that I've created. But so just ignore it. You won't have it when you open your Tana system. But the idea is that every time I have a tweet ID, for example, I just go there and I tag it with tweets. And boom, it's here. And if I click there, I have all of my tweet IDs that are stored here. So that's just basically how I capture all of my IDs. And so I have this for tweet IDs, but also for newsletter, for YouTube videos. I also use it to track and capture, for example, testimonials I have from clients. Any ID for storytelling, it's for some story IDs that I can have that I can use to create content. So like every type of IDs I capture inside Tana, and I just open the day page, write the ID, add it to the corresponding tag, and then that's done. When I need to create content, I will just open Tana, find an idea I want to create from, and that's basically it. So that's why I use Tana. Very simple. You can do crazy stuff inside Tana with AI agents and automation. I don't use all that. I just use it for capturing stuff inside. So yeah, so that was just to show you how it looks like in practice. So to create content, you can go to our two routes. So you can go to the manual creation path, which you can pick an ID from Tana, then choose a template, and the template for that will be in, I will tell you in the end of the video how to get access to it. But because I have created for you for free specific templates that you can use for your second brain to manage short form posts, newsletter, YouTube scripts, long form article, and all that stuff. But you choose a template, you bring them everything you know about the topic, and then you will just fill the template sections, which can be, for example, hook, problem, solution, story, CTA, and then based on that, you write the final draft, and then you have your content. Now you can also go through the AI assisted creation path. So what I love to do is to record a voice note on my phone, and sure, I will just pick my for 30 with no structure and no filter. And I like to do it like I'm explaining the idea to a friend, and or like to my girlfriend of her, like I'm doing like a WhatsApp voice note, things like that. And I do this for like 10 minutes. And then I feed the transcript to AI with a prompt, and it can be something like structure this as a newsletter or short post or YouTube outline. And then I will give the AI some writing samples so the AI can match my voice and tone. And then AI handles the structure and you handle the content and the soul. Then you will just edit output, maybe add stories or specific examples or your personality insights, and you will add all of that. And also you can also have, and also with things like Cloud Code or the agentic features inside Eden, that I will talk later on this video, you can have AI agents that crawl your notes, draft outlines automatically, and even suggest connections between notes. But so this is early stage, but it's worth knowing about if you use Eden, and you can also do this. You can do this in Obsidian with Cloud Code. But I'm not going to go too much in depth into how to have AI agents inside your second brain, but that's actually the next step when you have the whole system in place, when you have AI agents working inside the second brain. That's when it really becomes powerful, because my entire system that I just show you in Obsidian is actually managed by an AI agent that I have with Cloud Code that basically knows my entire life and all the knowledge I've stored over the years inside my second brain and allow me to work way more efficiently. But anyway, from node to content, the full loop looks like this. You read the book, you will highlight the key IDs. The key IDs will go into a literature node. Then inside the literature node, you will extract the key big IDs from that and rewrite them in your own word. You will then create permanent nodes in your galaxy. And then that node can become a tweet, it can become a newsletter, it can become a YouTube video, anything. And with one ID, you can have 4 pieces of content and infinite leverage. So that's the power of having a second brain. I know it might look like a lot right now because I just like tried to summarize like 4 years of building my second brain workflow, but in practice, when you're using it, it's absolutely amazing, especially if you're a creator, if you're into knowledge work. It's the kind of system that really change your life, especially now that we have AIs and even AI agents now that can live inside our second brain system. Now, the app comparison to apply this entire system. Obsidian versus Eden, because that will be both the app I will be recommending. So why does those apps specifically? So because they both use Markdown. It's plain text files, it's readable by any app, it's portable, future-proof, and AI-friendly. So I really recommend you to focus on apps that supports Markdown. And if they're not using Markdown and using some proprietary like file structure, I highly recommend you to avoid that, because that means that if you want to switch systems later, then you will have nodes that can't be read by other apps. So it's a way like software tools use to keep you trapped into their ecosystem. For example, with Evernote, you like Evernote's files can't be read by any other app. So if you have like dozens of notes inside Evernote, well, sorry, but you can't extract them or export them except by maybe copy pasting them, and it's like a pain in the ass. So yeah. So what that means is that if you switch app in 2 years, your notes come with you and you're not logged in into any system or any app. And that's why I recommend this too, and not Notion or Evernote, because or anything that's proprietary, as I just said. Now, Obsidian. What are the benefits of using Obsidian and the cons of using Obsidian? So first things first, Obsidian is free and open source. Your files lives on your computer, so there is no subscription, no cloud lock-in, full ownership. So that's a massive plus. You have a massive plugin ecosystem with hundreds of community plugins for any workflow, and you have the graph view, daily notes, flashcards, task management, AI integration. You can basically do everything inside Obsidian. But Obsidian requires more technical setup and can be more nerdy and like more for the geeks, because you will need to configure plugins, manage the file path. If you want to use AI agents, you will need to use to get comfortable with how to use the terminal on your computer, which can scare a lot of people if you want to have actual AI agents working inside your server brain. So that's I would say the only issue with Obsidian. I think Obsidian is best for power users, developers, and people that are comfortable with technical tools and want full control over every detail of their system. So if that's the kind of person you are and that you're very comfortable with all the technical stuff, then go for it. No, if you aren't comfortable with all that stuff and you just want a clean, tidy app with clean UI and clean design, then you can just go to Eden, which was formerly Cortex. So if you already know my content, well, I was creating a lot of content about Cortex, but Cortex stopped being developed and it's now called Eden, and it's Danco's second brain app, which is more than a second brain app, but we're going to see that. So the idea of Eden is to have an all-in-one workspace. So you have all of your files, AI, and agents in a single interface. You don't have to configure API keys or external integrations or MCP servers or stuff like that, like you will need to with a tool like Obsidian. AI models are natively integrated. You can chat with your nodes, ask questions, and generate content directly. And you can also use any AI models. You have Claude, but you also have ChatGPT. You also have Gemini, so you can use any model inside Eden. So that's one of the plus. And you can, for example, add a YouTube video by URL, and Eden auto-subscribes it and makes it visually searchable. So for podcasts, videos, articles, all become searchable knowledge inside your workspace. Then you can also have now AI agents that can organize nodes, create file structure, and surface connections automatically inside the workspace inside Eden. It's a new feature, but yeah, you have agentic functionalities inside Eden. And as I said, you don't have to go through the whole cloud code and terminal setup to use that. You can just open Eden and have this working, and you have better AI and UX out of the box, and it's easier onboarding for non-technical user. So it's still in beta and rapidly evolving, so it's not always open to new users, and features change frequently. So keep this in mind, and if you encounter some bugs and stuff, know that it's normal because it's in beta. But I think it's a very promising tool for creators who want AI features and simplicity without the technical overhead, and focus on their craft while having most of the power that AI can provide now. For my personal choice, what am I using for my second brain setup? So for the past year, I've mainly been using Cortex and Eden, but recently I've switched back to Obsidian that I used to work on before Cortex and Eden came out. And because with Cloud Code integrated into Obsidian, well, it's very, very powerful. But and as I said, I'm comfortable with using the terminal, and I like having full control over my setup. So that's why I use it. But I really advise you, if you're a creator who don't want to think about plugins, configurations, and complex stuff, just use Eden. The good news is that because both use Markdown, you can switch at any times, and you're not so care which app you open them in. So that's the great thing, is that you can try Eden, and if you want to try Obsidian later, you can try Obsidian, and the opposite is also possible. You can start your setup in Obsidian. If you don't like Obsidian, you can go back to Eden. So that's one of the benefits. So if you want to see how Eden looks, I can show you quickly how this looks like. And so here we're inside Eden, and it's a great example. As you can see, I use the exact file folder structure that I showed you in Obsidian. It's actually the exact same system. You can do the exact same setup inside Eden or inside Obsidian. And same things, I have all of my projects here. I have all of my areas here. I have all of my resources here. So yeah, that's basically the same thing with Eden, but you have cleaner interface, cleaner UI. But the great part is that everything is more done in Eden. So as I said, you can switch whenever you want. And you can also have Eden AI, which can basically have agentic functionalities. So for example, it can build your workspace for you. It can plan and work, do research, organize file, or create prompts. So I don't know. I would just tell him, for example, okay, write me a note with hello world inside in my inbox folder, and it should be able to create the note inside my inbox folder. So let's try it. And so yeah, the AI did the output, it worked on it, they have the agentic functionalities, and it created the hello world document in my inbox folder, as you can see. So it's funny, it created it. So yeah, that's one thing you can do. But for example, what you can do as well is that you can take this entire YouTube video transcript, you can give it to Eden, you can ask Eden to create your own file folder management system inside Eden using everything that I've explained in this video based on the transcript, and it will be able to do it for you. So that's some of the cool stuff that you can do with Eden, and you can, as I said, select any model from Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google. So it's great if you want to try models, and you can reference notes. So for example, if I want to mention specific notes that I have in my workspace, or even entire folders of notes to an AI chat, I can do that, and everything is automatically integrated inside Eden, which is the major benefits towards something like Obsidian, where you will need to use plugins and connect API keys, and basically you can build your own setup, but it's way more technical setup than just having everything inside Eden that's already done for you. So that's basically the main differences between both apps. Now, the conclusion, how to access all of the templates and SOPs that I've talked about in this video. So, you know, I have the complete second brain system. That's an overview I did. If you want to go more in depth about all of the systems, I have a lot of YouTube videos on my channel. They are mainly on Eden, but as I said, you can apply this in Eden, or you can apply this in Obsidian as you want. And you have the free systems, which are the content acquisition into the Zettelkasten, not taking into content creation. And you have that one pipeline that can capture everything you learn and turn them into content. You know the folder architecture to follow to keep everything organized without effort, and you have a clear choice between the two best apps that you can use for that, which are Obsidian or Eden, in my opinion. Now, all of the templates and SOPs that summarize the entire frameworks that I've shown in this video are available in Noah's Ark Bank, which is my free content bank for all people who join Noah's Ark. So every template I use, the literature note template, the permanent note template, the content creation templates, AI prompts, and even more are inside. You will have pre-built, they will be pre-built for Obsidian and Eden, ready to import and use today. And you also have an AI guide trained on all of the SOPs and template that you can talk with and ask questions to implement the entire system yourself. So if there are some things that aren't clear after watching this video, you can just ask the AI inside Noah's Ark Bank to, okay, can you explain to me what is a permanent node? Can you explain to me what is a literature node? How can I do that? How can I do this? What's the best app for me, in your opinion? Then it will recommend you those things. So I really recommend you to check that out. The link is in the description. You can download it, set it up, and start building your own second brain for free right now. So if this video gives you value, you know what to do. Please like the video. It helps more people find the system and apply them. Subscribe. We go deep on second brains, content creation, and building a purposeful and profitable creator business every week on that channel. And if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment. I will reply to every single one. So thank you very much for watching, and congrats if you've come so far into the videos, because that means that your attention span isn't fried. So congrats. You can even So yeah, thank you very much for watching this. Welcome back to Noah's Ark, and I will see you in another video. Bye.